I hope y'all are ready for some hot picks because we're getting some. We're going to get into it. In the Midwest, there's a snowstorm going on, but somewhere it is sizzling hot.
Actually, these hot picks were filmed in the snow too, so it's kind of like a double snow, double hot. Very hot picks. I just showed Sarah, and Sarah, I saw the look in your eyes.
You made me scroll through them too fast. I was like, I need at least 10 minutes to look at these.
Yeah, 10 minutes. How's it going, everyone? Also, international break going on, going strong. Lionesses had a huge win over China today. And then Australia had a big win.
Australia had 2 big wins. Robert won Dancing with the Stars.
Oh, yeah. We were rooting for Robert, Team Robert.
The only man I've ever cheered for in my life.
That's true. I'm
joking.
And then USA had a big win over Italy. However, we missed the entire thing, which is rarely, it never happened, I don't think.
Yeah, we were watching it, Welcome to Derry or whatever it's called. And yeah, we're just so out of it. I have no idea that a game was even happening.
Yeah, you know what? I just don't go on Instagram really at all anymore because my feed is so messed up. The way I still haven't gotten on my phone, so I rarely go on Instagram, and that's usually where I make sure I have the times and days. And I was flipping through TikTok, and someone goes, "Oh, the game tonight." I go, "What, tonight?" So yeah, we missed it, but good game, 3-0, America. But it's the first time we've completely missed the game, which I actually thought was kind of funny.
So disappointed in ourselves.
Yes, exactly. So fun international break. Also, big draw, Spain versus Germany. We did watch that live, and that is the Nations League final. That is a 2-match series, and so they're all tied up. And so winner takes all in that last match. Germany probably should have won that game, but that was a fun game. Very exciting game, even though Germany, what happened? You had a lot of chances. But so the story we're going to talk about, I don't know. It's kind of a scandal in a sense. And I'm actually going to say why I really don't think it's the biggest scandal or even a scandal at all. But, some of the details of it are kind of eyebrow raising. Is that a saying? Because Jill Roord has partnered up with superstar field hockey player Pien Sanders. And we remember the story. Pien Sanders was with her boyfriend for 10 years. I mean, 10 years, that's hard to fathom right there. But with her boyfriend for 10 years, met Jill. We didn't know the specifics. We do now. We're going to get to that in a second. And then Jill was reportedly dating Spanish player Jana Fernández. And they at some point broke up. And Pien and her boyfriend of 10 years broke up. And then Jill and Pien got together. We remember. It was the timing was kind of weird, but everyone's like, okay, they're together now. Pien had been with her boyfriend for 10 years. And then around the time of the Euros, they started making a lot of TikToks together, kind of being more public. And also, Jill was playing with Man City. And then she went back to the Netherlands to play for Dutch club. And everyone said, why would she go back? Almost take a step back. And a lot of people said, well, it was probably for Pien, She wanted to be close to her girlfriend. She had done long distance. She had been long distance with her other partners a lot of time, and that's hard. Why not go to a club in your hometown? She said she was homesick, but a lot of people said, was that for her girlfriend? But that was kind of a storyline. On its face, not very scandalous, but Pien and Jill just recently did a interview in a Dutch magazine, and they kind of talked about their timetable, what led them to be together. Very intimate details that we're going to read about. Viewer discretion advised. But kind of led them to be together. And a lot of people are saying, are they admitting to cheating, basically? Are they admitting to cheating? We're going to read the story, but I don't know. I mean, from its face value, I almost think it's like two people are meant to be together, coming together, in a sense. You know what I mean?
Well, if they broke up with both, partners, then I don't see the cheating.
Yeah.
If they didn't, and then they still got together, that's cheating, y'all.
Right. So we're going to talk about, this kind of the origin of their relationship. Like I said, some people are kind of questioning it. I'm going to have Sarah read from this article, and then we're going to kind of talk about it because some people are happy. Some people are very confused about why sharing this. But we're talking about, again, we might talk about some more suggestive things in this article. So if you have little ones in the room, maybe cover their ears for a couple minutes.
Earmuffs. Hockey player Pien Sanders broke up with her boyfriend after 10 years after a message from Lioness Jill Roord. I slept badly because of it. Dutch Lioness Jill Roord, 28, and top hockey player Pien Sanders, 27, opened up for the first time Tuesday in a candid interview about the beginning of their relationship. Sparks ignited when they both had other partners, in Sanders' case, a boyfriend of 10 years. She recounts how she initiated their first kiss and just did whatever physically she could. All the alarm bells went off for Pien Sanders when she met Jill Roord online, she recounts in Linda Maiden. A friend of Roord's had sent Sanders a photo of the soccer star without her knowledge and suggested she attend one of her matches. She did so and shared a photo of it on Instagram. Nice, why weren't you sitting next to me on the couch? Roord responded. Just a few days later, Sanders broke up with her boyfriend of 10 years, hockey player Thies van Dam. Although their relationship was good, Pien had been feeling more attracted to women for a while. At the time, Roord had been dating Spanish soccer star Jana Fernández for 2 years. They rarely saw each other, and the long-distance relationship was difficult. When Jill heard that Pien had broken up with him, she did the same. We felt a connection through the screen, Sanders said. I felt bad about myself that she felt this. I'm incredibly loyal. I thought. I'm not going to say the actual word. I thought. I don't want to feel what I'm feeling inside right now. I slept poorly because of it. But not long after that, the top athletes were in touch 24/7. At first, only online, until Jill arranged for them to meet at the house of an absent friend. Scary first kiss. That's when Pien initiated the first kiss with Jill, her first with a woman. Roord was deliberately hesitant, and that's precisely why Sanders thought, F it, and went for it. She found it terrifying, but completely normal, like it was meant to be. We waited a bit before... Okay. Sorry. Gotta get my big girl reading glasses on. Woo! I swear we're mature.
I know, okay.
No, we're not.
Okay, good.
We waited a bit before having sex, but that didn't happen much later, says Roord. Sanders found that exciting, but it felt good and natural between us. You don't have a manual telling you how to have sex with women. I just did whatever. But apparently it was good. We also had an instant physical connection for the very first time. They've now been together for 9 months, happier than ever, living together, and thinking about having children. Oh my gosh. This is wild. I love it. The two are guest editors for Linda Maiden, whose theme is Make Love, Not War. Their love radiates from their photo shoot, for which Jill wore underwear that read, I heart my girlfriend. In love, you sometimes have to be selfish, they believe. People respected my struggles. Was I gay? For others, it was hard to see that I could instantly fall in love with someone else, and I understand that completely, Pien says in the editorial. Jill adds, we both made a decision that would come as a shock to others, and we were aware of that. But in the end, you have to live with yourself until you're 80. That's it. And then the most important thing is that you're happy. Whoa. I love how candid and honest they are. Very interesting.
Yeah, totally. And I mean, okay, let's start from the very top of the article that Sarah read, that a friend of Roord's had sent Sanders a photo of the soccer star without her knowledge and suggested she attended one of her matches. Jill says, why weren't you sitting next to me on the couch? Which I'm not quite sure what that even kind of means, but I get the idea, kind of flirty. That's a flirty thing to say, you know what I mean? Just a few days later, Sanders broke up with her boyfriend. So basically, just by that little interaction, Pien felt a connection to Jill. And kind of, and even in the article it said she felt like she liked women more than men. Honestly, after 10 years, they have the old thing, if you're not married after 10 years, I think it's different in Europe, is that your future after 10 years? Maybe she felt like she never wanted to get married to her boyfriend. Maybe she felt like, I don't know that, but I do know after a little interaction of her communicating with Jill, breaking up with her boyfriend. I mean, that seems pretty convincing that she said, I'm doing the right thing in her head. You get what I'm saying? Then, after Jill had found out Pien had broken up with her boyfriend, Jill broke up with Jana. And that is the part where it's kind of like, was that like emotional, almost cheating in a way? I don't think so, but I'm just kind of going what people maybe are saying. Is that a form of like emotional? She found someone else and just said, Jana, we're long distance. We rarely seeing each other. It's not working out. Going with Pien. So it's kind of like Jill felt the same thing very, very quickly. So I think that's where some people said, well, was that cheating? Is that emotional? Did they get together and then break up? It doesn't sound like that, but it sounds like they were each individually kind of checked out of their relationships to begin with. You know what I mean? Jill being long distance is hard, and then Pien with her boyfriend of 10 years, she felt more attracted to women. So I just felt like they were kind of each checked out of their relationship. So I don't think that is one of the big controversies, because you see a lot of headlines like this. Ex-Arsenal Man City star sparks women's football scandal when she uses intimate photo shoot with her Olympian girlfriend to reveal how relationship sparked before breakup with her ex. So that's kind of the scandal of it.
Oh, people just want a headline.
Yeah, see, in my opinion, to me, it's not cheating. They both seem checked out of their relationship, because I do believe them when they said they kissed after they were already broken up. They were intimate after they had already broken up. You know what I mean? So I don't think it's a cheating situation. Some people think it is, but I actually don't. So they got together, and then, as it said, it was Pien's first kiss with a girl, and they got pretty detailed about the intimacy part of the relationship, which I told Sarah she was going to read some wild stuff, and I don't know if you were ready for that.
Hey, I liked it. Yeah. That was all right with me.
Yeah. And so then they kind of talked about that as well, kind of like, really, first kiss, first being intimate, Pien first time being intimate with a girl. So it's kind of like they really kind of laid it out there. Everything felt right and everything kind of felt natural. And to me, this is the kind of love story that it's like sparks attract. You know what I mean? Like, that's kind of what I took away from it. These two people are meant to be together. Like, they had an instant connection, an instant attraction, an instant spark. And you can see that in the videos and things they post, and they're always on TikTok. They're always on TikTok. And the photo shoots they did to accompany the article were pretty spicy and pretty saucy and pretty everything. And some people say they look too much alike, but I don't think they do.
And if they do, don't they know how lesbians work? Hello. These are some hot pics.
Very hot pics. They just look like they're in love, kind of in that, almost like that puppy love, kind of in that puppy love, kind of in that lust love phase. But Jill has had a few girlfriends that we know of, and for Jill to be like, I'm in love with Pien, Pien wants to talk about it publicly, because my guess is a lot of her ex-girlfriends maybe didn't want to talk about it publicly. Maybe Jill's the one who didn't want to publicly talk about it. We don't quite know. When you're both a soccer player with Jill's ex-girlfriends, it is hard. The one thing that really I thought about this, it seems like Jill's just kind of over being long distance with someone, because obviously when you play soccer, you don't know where they're going to go. Although Pien does play field hockey, it seems like she mostly just plays in the Netherlands. So it sounds like Jill just wants to be with someone that she is at long distance, and that, since they're both from the Netherlands, they get to see each other. And, they both, I always hear the thing of Dutch people have a very direct way of talking to each other. So maybe that helps too, that they really communicate well, From what I've always been told about Dutch people, they're very straightforward. And that was the other thing I was going to say. They're very straightforward. And this interview, from what I know about Dutch people, and correct me if I'm wrong out there, if you think that what I'm saying is kind of wild, but they wanted to be straightforward with how they feel about the situation and how they got together. Hey, it's like this. We didn't do anything wrong. We're in love. It started like this, and that's it. You know what I mean? Just very straightforward. That's also kind of what I took away from this interview.
Yeah, that makes sense. Hey, I'm just happy they're happy.
Yeah. And also at the end, it said Jill said, we both made a decision that would come as a shock to others, and we were aware of that. But in the end, you have to live with yourself until you're 80. Yeah. So I'm very happy for them. They look happy. But a lot of people are saying, what about their ex-partners? What about Pien's ex-boyfriend? What about Jana Fernández? Is it fair to them for them to come out with this interview? Because it almost makes them seem disposable in a way. You get what I'm saying? Like, oh, we just broke up with them. Oh, it wasn't working out, but now we're together. It kind of were their feelings took into account. Some people are saying, and some people are just saying, hey, you were insensitive to Jana, that you're just saying, oh, I messaged with Pien, and then Pien broke up with her boyfriend, and I just said, okay, bye, Jana. Some people are saying that seemed a little insensitive, but I don't know. If Jill knew she didn't want to do long distance, or if it wasn't working out, in some ways it almost is like, hey, it made sense for her to have to break up with Jana at that point. But some people saying talking about it seems a little insensitive. I don't know. That's the part where I do feel bad for their ex-partners. You know what I mean? Especially Pien's boyfriend, who for 10 years was her boyfriend. Then again, if he wanted to get married, he probably could have asked her to marry him. I don't know.
She probably didn't want to.
Yeah. So what does everyone think? I take away from this story like a love story. I know some people think it's a bit controversial that some people think they're admitting to cheating on their partners unless we're missing something. But it seems like the part that I think could get a little sketchy was before they officially broke up, they did have this flirtation with each other. And I could see that kind of being a little gray area. You know what I'm saying? The flirtation was that, because if someone's giving, well, and a lot of people are saying, well, if a friend of Roord sent Sanders a photo, a friend of Roord had sent Sanders a photo of the soccer star. A lot of people are saying, well, why is the friend of Jill sent Pien a photo of the soccer star without her knowledge, suggesting she attended one of her matches? Was the friend saying, hey, maybe do you like this person? Is she cute? That part is kind of like, I could see where people think it's uneasy to, kind of suggest partnering when you already have a partner, or suggest flirting when you already have a partner. And then Jill to kind of say, hey, why didn't you come sit next to me? You know what I mean? So I could see that being a little gray area, but I just think Pien and Jill were meant to be together. They have the same energy. They just fit. You know what I mean? Hot pictures.
And hey, they already live together and are talking kids.
Yes, I love that. They're both athletes, so who knows who would carry around any of that? So maybe they're trying to figure all that stuff out right now.
Whoa. Wild stuff.
Yeah. So what does everyone think about this story? But I mean, the details, their first kiss, her first kiss with a girl, their first sexual encounter. I mean, I'm just going to read a couple comments, just ones I saw.
Love how all Jill's previous relationships were like kinda the zipper face emoji, like mum's the word, and now she's like, ew, Uno reverse card.
Which makes me think even more so they're meant to be, does this mean they are gonna get married, have kids? Not necessarily they want to, but I just think it's right for Jill. They can speak Dutch together. I don't know.
This comment says, they look like siblings, sorry, but still cute.
I love the sorry. No, but beautiful. They're both beautiful, so, or both hot. They're both hot, so.
Beautiful sisters.
Yeah, and then I saw a few comments like this.
Oh my god, poor Jana and the boyfriend. I'm sure they are thrilled to have their names dropped.
Yeah, I saw a couple people like that, and I could see that. It is kind of a tricky situation. And then someone goes, I don't know, I think it's kind of cute. And then someone goes, I don't like people who are not honest with their partner and start another relationship without breaking up with the previous one. And that's the part where it seemed like they did break up, but with their previous partner, but it seemed like really fast. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I met this other person, I'm going to break up. But it didn't. It seemed like they were already kind of checked out of their relationships too. So the cheating thing, I think that kind of headline, I don't think it's a cheating situation.
I literally can't believe this. Jill Roord, the girl I was watched with since her Arsenal days, is actually capable of this. Maybe she's doing everything to make Pien Sanders feel totally safe and trusted, but you're not allowed to hurt Jana Fernández like that. So sorry.
Yeah, and like I said, I don't necessarily agree with that comment about, but I do see a lot of Jana Fernández's fans say, that didn't seem like the nicest thing to do. It seemed like a little out of the blue, kind of just quick. You know what I mean? But I don't know. But then I saw so many people say how happy they were for them, and how happy they are for them, how beautiful. I don't think it's a scandal, but it is an eye-catching headline. And this interview was very straightforward too, which to me reads so Dutch. Anything I know about the Dutch, it's all I hear. That's one of the main things I hear. They are straightforward. They don't They want you to know what they think, and I like that about them.
I'm sorry, from now on I'm Dutch.
Yeah.
But like, don't you think back and you're like, wow, I'm so glad that girl that one time just told me how it is and told me like, just I respect her, right?
Yeah, exactly. You know where you stand, basically. Exactly.
But obviously, there's a nice, respectful way to say things. Obviously, you're not going to be like heartless about it. So
The idea of them getting together after they had broken up with their previous partners, that they were in touch 24/7. They hadn't met each other until they arranged to meet at the house of an absent friend. So how everything was meant to be. You know what I mean? But also, I think it is interesting for Pien to kind of say how she feels about being with her first girlfriend, you know, her first female partner, because I think a lot of people have that experience too, where it's relatable and kind of scary, especially with being for a boyfriend for so long time, you know, being with her boyfriend for such a long time. She feels some, you know, it's something new. So I don't know. I think it's very honest. But what does everyone think? Anyone out there think this is scandalous? I know there is a lot of people who do. I just take it more like I can see the other side of the other partners being hurt, but I don't think it's scandal. But if you disagree, leave a comment down below, because I'm interested to see what people think as well.
yeah.
Questions, comments down below. What do you guys think? Yeah, I think our next video, I'm on a lover's roll. I think there's other things going on. The Arsenal, we were going to do the Arsenals having issues in the locker room, allegedly. But I think another lovers video next. Love it. What does everyone think? Questions, comments down below. We will talk to everyone later. Have a great day. Bye.
Bye.